Hi, my name is Valerian. I'm leading 2V Automation AI, and today I'm going to speak about the automation that is built in n8n, and it syncs your Airtable to Google Slides. This was one of the pilot projects that we're working on, and I decided to share this because I found this a quite interesting use case of n8n, and maybe there would be a couple of hints that might be useful. What's the idea? There is a consultancy working on a large event. They are building everything in Airtable. They save everything in Airtable, and you can think of a table like this. This is a sample Airtable. So we have the activity name, we have the type, the date when it starts and finishes, the location, the speakers, which are relations from another table, and we also have the notes. We want to get something like this. We want to get a PDF where we have the program for every day, where we have the title of the program and we have the program details in a nice formatted way. For every event we need to have the date, the time, the speakers, the location, the notes, and everything should be looking good and organized on a single page. What's the purpose of this? The thing is that when you're organizing an event, things are changing really fast, and you can't really control all of that, but you need to have the PDF in the end that is sent to all of the attendants. You can obviously handle it manually, but they have hundreds of events over 5 days, and to control all of that, it is actually a lot of work, so it makes sense to automate this. So how it's going to work? Let's start with the trigger node, which in this case would be just a click node. So I want this automation to be started manually because I don't really need the Google Slides to be updated dynamically. I just want to make sure that anytime I want to have the relevant Google Slide deck, I can do it with a single click. So here we are adding two nodes at the same time. The reason for that is that I can't really pool the events and in the same node pool the speakers. So I have to do the following thing. I have to pool the events here. First of all, I need to connect Airtable. I will probably create a video about this. And then I need to choose the type of resource that I'm pulling. I'm pulling record. The operation is going to be search, because otherwise it's going to allow you to get just one record with a very specific condition. And if you need all of them, you need to select search. And then you just need to choose the base, like from which you are pulling the records, and the table. You don't need to put anything into the formula, into the filter, and you need to click the return all condition to get all the events. So let's test this step and see that it's getting 19 items. These are all the events that we have in this Airtable over here. Next, we're going to pull the speakers from the separate table, and here everything is similar, but we just choose table speakers over here. Let's test the step and see that we get 9 items, and these are 9 speakers over here. To work with two data sets at the same time, we need to merge them. In this case, I use merge without any specific params here. It is enough because it just appends all the records together. In this specific case, we have two data sets. They are completely different, so we just want them to be a single array with different type of records, and then we will programmatically match them. And next, I probably could try doing this with n8n nodes and with no-code nodes, but I don't really think there is a reason for doing this. So let me show you how I'm working on custom code when I need it to be in the nodes, and this is the easy approach, and I'm pretty sure it will work for you as well. It doesn't require any development skills, although I do have development skills, but you can do this without them with ChatGPT. So what do we want to do? We go to ChatGPT and we say, okay, we have this list. To get this list, you just need to click edit on the previous node, Control A, Control V, or if you're on Mac, Command A, and then put it into ChatGPT. And let's describe what we're doing. So I'm building an animation that moves data from Airtable to Google Slides. I have this list of records. It is a combination of events and speakers. I need to merge them. I want you to create a list that is or that is grouped by date. Is I want to regroup this flat list that I'm getting over here, things because I need to have the data structured by date in my Google Slides. As you can see, we have this date 1 and then the next date on the next page. So I want the structure where I have the date, and then within this array we have a key which is a date, and then I have multiple elements within this date, so all the events within this date, so I can loop through them and I can create the output for this page. So that's what that's what I want from ChatGPT here. So, and I'm just pasting the whole list of records that I have. Now it got me wrong. I need you to create a JS code for a custom code node in n8n to group these records. Right. Here it goes. It creates the code over here. Okay, basically I think it will not, I need to update it straight away because I can see that there is nothing related to speakers over here, and I wanted to combine speakers and events. I asked it to merge events and speakers, so each event will have relevant speaker names instead of the IDs, because I know that there are IDs. So here it is. Let's try this code. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, because obviously I haven't tested it and it's generated on the fly. I'm just trying to show you the potential approach if you don't know how to code, how you can use the code node in n8n. I'm going to create another one, right, because I don't want, I have my working node there. So let's see. Okay, yeah, so it returned what I was asking for. As you can see, it returned 2 items. The first one is the first date, and we have events in here, and as you can see, each event will have names and roles on it instead of having the IDs. So it did a great job from the first go. So I'm going to disconnect this node and I'm going to try this one. So this is the first node, and now when we have this data, we want to format it in a nice way, because it's just it seems to be easier to do it with code. So I want to ask ChatGPT code node where these data is nicely outputted for an event program example, and I'm going to give it an example: 10:30 a.m. event name, speakers, notes, description. Let's see what it's going to do. Once again, the prompt is super simple, so I don't expect it to bring perfect results. I'm going to create another code node over here, and I'm going to just paste what ChatGPT generated. Okay, it did generate some code. The output looks good, so let's just try the final thing. So I need to create the Google Slides node. And Google Slides node by default has not so many actions, so there are other API methods that can be used, but you don't have it by default in n8n, so you need to work and find a workaround by creating custom nodes. In this specific case, just to show the way it's done, I'm going to choose the replace text in a presentation node. So essentially, it might not be the right node when we are finalizing the whole project, because as you can see, we are very limited here. I have created this template. It has just 3 pages, so it supports only 3 dates, and we have very straightforward names here, like date 1, description 1, date 2, description 2. So it's just a hard-coded thing to show the feasibility of doing this, but it should be enough for our purpose. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to remove all the slides from this real program and paste this template over here. And so I know these variables now, and I'm going to add to n8n the rules. So first, to do so, I need the presentation ID. You can take it from the URL of this presentation, just straight after D and before any other, before the next slash, where we have edit and blah, blah, blah. This one is the ID of the presentation. I will add it here. And now I'm going to add the text that I want to replace. Once again, ideally, this should be a dynamic process with an array, and we should cycle through this array with the loop record or with the code and dynamically create new pages with the right placeholders and then potentially replace them. So there will be two steps. The first one will create a set of pages of a given length, and then the second one will replace the text. But I'm not going to do this right now. I don't need the IDs because I have different variables on every page. So you just put this name of the variable here, let's say date 1, including the brackets. And you want to replace it with this date 1. And it's not the right node, okay, it's a tricky thing here. What you can see is that n8n shows you only the first item here, right? So it shows you the first item of this node. I don't want it to work this way. I want to have an array here on this step because I don't want to iterate through the items. Instead, I want to have a flat array over here so I can just pull the hard-coded values. So for date 1, I will have the first date or the first item of the array. For the second one, I will have the second item, and so on. So let me reformat this a bit. I can do this manually, but let me show you how this is done in ChatGPT. I need the second code that you created to be updated. Right now, it does not return an array, and I want all items to be accessible in the next node. Let's see. It should change just the final part of it when it has where it actually returns something. So let's see how it works. Yeah, I can just copy this one. I think so. Let me check the names. So instead of return output, you can see that it returns this JSON agendas output. Yeah, so now it is an array, yeah. And here I'm gonna one sec. I'm gonna play this node, and now I'm going to replace this one with this one. So as you can see, we have this array. So it says JSON agendas 0, so this is the first element of this array, and then JSON date. So I will also replace the description here and replace it with the agenda. And next I'm going to do the same thing for the second date over here. I'm going to search for the date, and I'm going to replace it with the date from the second element of this array. Yeah. Okay. And the last one would be description 2. Once again, it's not an expression, and replace with agenda number 2. Let's test it. All right, I think it worked, right? Yeah, so you can see it worked here. Let me just run it once again so we can see it real time. I'm gonna delete everything, link, and now I'm going to just go over here and test the whole workflow, and while it's executing, we'll wait here and see when it changes. Yeah, so as you can see now, it changed. It doesn't look great yet, so I don't really love the output. You can play around with ChatGPT formatting step and ask it to do different things. You can also ask it to change the format of the date here. So there's a lot of things you can do with this code. I just tried to show this combination of n8n and a bit of code generation with ChatGPT when you need the code nodes, so you don't really need to pull all of those things manually in terms of having all the nodes doing the loops, etc., when it comes to simple stuff that can be done by coding, especially if we are speaking about the pilot projects or projects where you don't need which you don't need to support extensively over the time. You can just put some code into them, because this already proves that this can be built with n8n. And down the road, if you want it to be more flexible, more supportable, and you feel that you need to reduce the complexity that is hidden somewhere in the custom code node, then you can do something with the standard n8n node. But don't be afraid of coding nodes. Even if you don't really know how to code, if the task is simple, I mean, it can be done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon.